The Incredibles is a 2004 family animation film directed by Brad Bird. It's about a family of superheroes. Mr. Incredible, voiced by Craig T. Nelson, is the dad of the family, and his superpower is he has super strength. Then there's Mrs. Incredible. She's Elastigirl, and her power is that she can basically just stretch however far she wants. There are three kids in the family. There's Dash, voiced by Spencer Fox. There's Violet, voiced by Sarah Vowell. Then there's Jack Jack, voiced by Eli Fusil. Dash is incredibly fast, Violet can turn invisible, and Jack Jack really doesn't have any powers. So basically, there's this family of superheroes. Superheroes exist in this world, but they can't really show their face in public because superheroes were made illegal. So Mr. Incredible has been waiting 15 years for hero work, and he really just wants to help someone who's in need. Now, this film, in my opinion, has a really great premise. Because most of the time in superhero movies, the plot is really basic. It's just, oh, blank had a tragic accident, making him have, blank superpowers. It's really usually not creative. But in this case, it's not really like that. It's just, oh, okay, they have superpowers, now here's the actual plot. And it's really nice to see someone take a spin on the superhero genre, which for some reason people still can't do. Also, the animation in this movie is gorgeous. For 2004, obviously it's a little dated, but it still looks great. One of my favorite things about this movie is actually that the characters are always aware that they have superpowers. Like most of the time in superhero movies, it's like, you always wonder to yourself, it's like, okay, why aren't they using their powers? They could just easily solve this situation. But in this film, they just always know when to actually use them in whatever situation they're brought up in. Like, for instance, when Dash and Violet are arguing, like, they will use superpowers against each other. It's basically just like a sibling fight, but, they're using powers against each other. And that's really creative for, like, an animation stance, I guess. One thing I really hate about some movies or TV shows is whenever there's, like, a daughter, and they have, like, psychic powers, they usually, whenever they get into an argument with their parents, they usually just use their psychic powers, freak out, and then destroy everything in the house. And it's kind of a cliche at this point. But in this movie, I'm glad to see that, that doesn't happen. So the powers here are actually, I think, used pretty creatively. Like, Dash will be, fighting with his sister, and he'll be using a super speed, like knocking her upside the head. And then, she'll use her force field to, like, push him away and, like, make him hit a wall. And, it's pretty cool. One thing I also think is really cool is that they actually use their superpowers to, like, express emotion. And I think that's actually pretty creative. Like, for instance, when Mr. Incredible, he'll be, like, holding a doorknob, and, like, if he's angry, he'll obviously crush that. Or, he'll just start, like, destroying things by accident if he's frustrated or confused. Or, like, with Dash, if he's, like, really stressed or he, like, has a lot of adrenaline in him, his expressions will be, like, super fast and he'll be, like, moving all over the place. This is kind of similar to, like, the movie Deadpool, where, you can't see his mouth, so he has to use, like, his eyebrows, like, express kind of, some emotion, so you know what's going through his head. Another thing I thought that was really good about this movie was the voice acting. A lot of animation films now, basically what they just do is they just cast some celebrities. It's like, alright, here, just say these lines, here's your paycheck. But in this movie, I found that they actually found, the right people. Basically, how you'd imagine them is, like how they'd sound is probably what they would sound like. Like, Mr. Incredible, he has, like, a really deep voice, And then Dash and Violet obviously have higher voices because they're kids. For some reason, movies can't get that nailed down for some reason, which is weird because it's a very basic thing to do. I think the overall theme with this story is that if you communicate well with your family, it will lead you to a better life, for example. Like, when the family's not working together, they're not really, doing too well in action. But, when they're working together, they're easily just, leading themselves to victory. This movie definitely had a great director. Seeing as how, like, everything just kind of, like, is set up straight from the beginning, in some superhero movies, it's basically just waiting for the antagonist to show up while the superhero just does random stuff. Also, the cinematography in this film is just great. It has kind of like this film kind of has like this 1960s vibe. It's based in like 1962. And I'm also glad that they don't really shove it in your face. Oh yeah, and the music is really good too. It also has kind of like a 1960s kind of like comic action vibe. I think that's really cool for the movie. It kind of fits very very well whenever there's like an action sequence. Overall, I think the voice actors, animation, music, story, I think it's all great. And I think you should definitely see this movie if you haven't. Alright, there's my review.